there, Heather Boyd Wire here, and today I'm doing a really cool wire wrapped ring. Now this project was inspired by my collaboration with the Cabochon group. They have a video on their YouTube channel on how to make little wire wrapped necklaces with this type of design on it. So I'll link that one up below and let's get started. So what you're going to need for this project is your metal blank and a little glass bauble. I buy these at the stained glass store. You need your jewelry tools, scissors, graph paper, pencil, two-sided tape, and the little hole punch for the blank, and wire. So I have a thicker wire. It's about an 18 gauge for the band and a 24 gauge to wrap. So here's the ring I made on my live stream last week. I'll link up the live stream below so you can see. And this one I actually made with a little steampunk piece. So it's kind of wrapped around. But for this project, I actually took the metal blank and I poked little holes in it and I wrapped it with that. So I'm going to show you how to make this one. So to get started, we want to trace the blank. So make sure you center it in a way that it's within sort of the lines. This one fits within the sort of 1 inch area, so you want to make sure it's centered in there, and then you're going to just trace around the outside and we'll just cut out the circle. So just with your scissors. So for the original sample I did a lot of holes. So this one I'm going to do fewer holes in it. And basically what you want to do is just mark your holes so it's equal distance. I think I'm going to do it about like how a clock is set up. I think that way we'll be able to divide it evenly. So we have there and there, and then we're just going to put like halfway in between there and then here and here. So it's a little bit more than the number of dots in a clock. So it really depends on the size of your blank. And when I did this one on the live stream the other night, I totally messed it up. I didn't use graph paper and it was really hard to get it centered. So I really strongly advise measuring it out. And they don't have to be absolutely perfect, but you want them more or less the same space apart. And then what I found was easiest to do was just put a bit of two-sided tape on the back. You don't need a lot, but just like at least in a couple of places so it won't wiggle around on the blank. And then take your blank and just really center that. Make sure it's centered. Like if you turn it upside down, you might be able to see it better. So we're just going to really center that on the blank because it really has to be as perfect as you can get it centered. You really want to cut the paper so it's the exact size of the blank. So now what we're going to do, you want to make sure it's going to stick on there. Okay. And I think what I'll even do is I'm going to trim the little extra because I really want to make sure that I don't poke my holes too close to the edge. Okay, so what we're going to do now is take this hole punch. I've actually tried to poke holes with nails before and it didn't work at all. So I find this tool that I bought from the Cabochon group is excellent. So I'll link up below where you could buy this tool. And what we want to do is we're just going to, like where the little pokey bit of the tool is, put that on your dot and just poke it in there. So we're just going to do one there. I'm going to turn it around to the opposite side so at least we have our base ones done first. And like I said, you don't want to get too close to the edge, and we'll just do all of our holes. So now I've poked all my holes and I want to remove the paper. So we're just going to peel the paper off. Now depending on how much tape you put, you might have to peel the tape off. This looks okay. So you'll see one end is more smooth and the other end is a little pokey. So we're going to put the pokey end up so it's away from the finger. So we have our blank and we're going to put the rough side up away from where the finger will be. And we're going to take a 3-foot piece of the 24 gauge wire and put it in one of the holes. And then we want to put the glass piece on there. it's tricky to hold it all together, but you want to kind of hold it and the blank at the same time. And then what you want to do is string the wire through, but not on the exact opposite side, or it's going to cover the glass too much. So what you want to do is put it like, find your opposite side, but then maybe go back 2 squares, okay? So two little holes. And then we're just going to kind of sew it in, okay? So we're going to, but be very careful not to like pull it too tight. The first few strings you do are going to be a little tricky because it is a little wiggly, and it also depends on how fat your glass piece is. And then what you want to do next is go up to the hole that's beside your first hole. So we're going up through from the bottom to the top. So we're going to go, it's kind of, we're almost sewing it in place, but not quite. You'll see with the steampunk piece, it's a little easier because you're just wrapping. But this one, you're kind of going in and out of the hole. So it is a little bit trickier because the glass piece can slide around a little bit. So now we're going to go to like clockwise around. So we're going to go clockwise to beside the first, where you put the first wire down through. So now we're going to put this one down through beside that one, and we're just basically moving over 1 notch each time as we go. And it's going to be a little tricky. You want to just kind of hold on to the glass piece and the blank at the same time. If your wire is too stiff, it's going to be really tricky. So try to get a wire that's quite soft. Like the wire I like the best for this project is the artistic copper wire in the 24 gauge. This one is actually a generic kind of dollar store thin wire, so it's a little bit stiffer. It's a little trickier to use. And so now we're going to just keep doing the same thing. We're going to go in through the front and back up through the back, and we're going to work our way around the dial. Now you'll see once you've got sort of halfway through that you will have to put the wire through where there's already a wire coming up. So you just want to make sure that where the wire has come up through here, you want to keep going beside it. Even though there's already a wire in there, you might have a little bit of trouble getting it in there, but you want to be sure to just keep going all the way around until each hole has 2 wires through it. So now all the holes have 2 wires gone through them, and so like we did with the other end, we're just going to pull this through one of the holes again, just to give it a nice finishing touch. It's just like when you do sewing and you have to go back over your stitches, so it just will hold it into place. And then just cut it a little bit on the top side, so because you don't want the little pokey end underneath where your finger is. So there we have our disc all ready to go. So for the ring, I have some 18 gauge wire, and I'm just going to use my larger round pliers, and we just want to do like a nice kind of loose round end like that, and then you could just pull these straight. So we have it like that, and then we're going to get our ring cone and just hold it on the ring cone and just start it around like that. So we have sort of a bit of a half circle going. And then what we need to do is string this through the back of our little metal blank. So let's go ahead and clip these so that they're about the same length. Okay. And then see how the back is sort of a little bit raised, and that's especially because my wire was stiff that it did that. If you pull your wire tighter, it won't be that much raised, but at least should be raised enough that you could slide a couple of these inside. And so what you want to do is you want it this way. So this is the back and this is your ring bit, and you want to just in 2 places, not right beside each other, but a little bit apart, just poke these 2 through, Okay, around like sort of, you want them to come out the other side like kind of centered. So just make sure they're, yeah, that should be good. So they come out the other side centered. And this is the beginning of your ring. Okay, it's going to go like that. And then we're going to get the ring cone back and just like kind of try it on the finger to see where it's more or less going to be centered. And then we're going to wind these around the other way. Okay. And this, you know, you could keep trying it on to see what, if it's going to fit you all right. And then here you want these to be bent up at a bit of a right angle. Okay, you can do it with your pliers, or if the wire is soft, you can do it with your fingers. So see how this is up a bit of a right angle? And then you can go ahead and even clip them a little bit shorter. They're going to be too hard to get through there. And we want to, you're going to mangle it a little bit just to get it in there, but you want to get those ends in there. It's going to get a little bent, but you're going to fix it with the cone. And so once they're in there, this ring is ending up looking a little bit small. So you want to really be, you know, fit it as you go along. And then what you want to do is take these two ends with your pliers and just fold them back. Do you see how I've done that? Just sort of folded it back. Okay. And push them down a little bit. And then at this point you will probably have to trim them again a little bit more because you don't want these ends to be too long. Okay. And then you could just push them in. I tried to make this in an adjustable style, but I found because the piece itself is very heavy, it ended up being a little too flimsy as an adjustable ring. But this way you could just make it to actually fit your finger, and then it's fine. And like I said, this one's maybe a little bit small, but it's not too bad. So there we go, our little wrapped ring. And you can compare it with the other one I did that's more like a steampunk style with the gears. So I'll link up that video below. So thanks so much for watching the video. Give it a big thumbs up if you like it. Be sure to subscribe to my channel for lots more DIY wire art and jewelry making videos. Hit the notification bell to be notified when I post new videos and when I go live. And if you'd like to share photos of your wire work, please join my Facebook group, the Wire Art and Jewelry Makers Club, where we inspire each other and share pictures of our work. And if you don't have Facebook, no problem. You could email me photos of your creations based on my tutorials to info@heatherboydwire.com, and I'll post them in the community section of the YouTube channel. And if you'd like to see our wire art and jewelry, we have an Etsy shop and you can check it out. I'll link it up below. My husband and I make custom wire wedding cake toppers and jewelry. And thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you the next time.